Before we get started, I was able to interview the studio themselves and get an answer on why they made the Percy Jackson film in 2010. Here's their uncensored response.
Money!
Percy Jackson. This misunderstood, dyslexic, pen-wielding kid goes on a chaotic road trip across the country to retrieve a lightning bolt that was stolen from Zeus. What a premise from one of my favorite fantasy book series featuring the one, the only, Percy Jackson. Every page was such a joy to read, and I was ecstatic when I found out that a live-action adaptation was getting released in 2010. Wait a minute. The Last Airbender and Percy Jackson released in the same year. I feel like that should be illegal. I don't know why, it just should. Percy Jackson is getting a new live-action adaptation on Disney Plus in the coming weeks, and to prepare for this hopefully successful second attempt, I wanted to take a look at the original adaptation that left me feeling kind of like Percy's mom after she encounters the Minotaur. Yeah. Maybe I was expecting a bit too much. It would have been nice for this movie to be a one-for-one copy of the book. After all, that's been done before with movies like Holes and The Princess Bride. Two of the best adaptations ever. At the very least, I hope that this movie would be like Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Apprentice. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Especially because it was the same director. I guess lightning doesn't strike twice. Well, probably not, since Zeus lost his bolt.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I wanted this movie to be like the Sorcerer's Stone in the sense that it wasn't a carbon copy of the book, but did just enough to spawn a very successful film franchise. I had hoped that Percy Jackson can get the same treatment, but that hope was quickly dashed when I saw the trailer. Something about it just seemed off. Looking back, it was probably because I was looking at the oldest 12-year-old boy I have ever seen. The book series features a 12-year-old kid who goes on this journey of becoming a hero, and by the end of the series, he reaches the old age of 16. So nothing says book accuracy than having him be 17 in the very first movie. From this moment, it was clear that the studio didn't do their due diligence with the source material, and wanted to just create a movie to ride the wave by making the next Harry Potter. But imagine if Harry, Ron, and Hermione were 17 years old in the first movie. It's safe to say that the Harry Potter film franchise would not be what it is right now, and that's pretty much what killed any chance for Percy Jackson. But as a kid, I still went to watch it, because, I was young. And stupid. And honestly, I didn't hate the casting that much. Besides not being the correct age, I felt like Logan Lerman and Alexandra Daddario could have portrayed a great Percy and Annabeth in another time. But yeah, I went into the movie hoping for a great time, and 13 years later, I'm still hoping. It's been ages since I last saw this movie or even read the book, so I'm very curious to see if this adaptation is as bad as I remember, or if maybe I treated this movie too harshly. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and let's get started. Logan Lerman, Alexandra Daddario, and Brandon T. Jackson star as our three main protagonists in this Chris Columbus-directed film. For starters, Percy Jackson is a half-blood. And no, that's not considered a bad thing in this universe. All that means is that he is half human and half god. In other words, a demigod. His father is the king of the sea Poseidon, one of the big three. Yes, Percy Jackson is related to this guy. Some would say that he's a true half-blood prince. I don't know. The movie introduces us to Zeus and Poseidon, and they must have kidnapped Sean Bean and Kevin McKidd right off the streets, cause what are they wearing? Afterwards, Zeus gives Poseidon a fetch quest, then he just violently exits stage left. And then cut to Percy Jackson, The Way of Water. Sorry Cameron, but Percy did it first. In this opening classroom sequence, we find out that Percy is dyslexic through this cool, but maybe inaccurate visualization. But I guess the filmmakers were afraid the audience is too stupid to figure out that he's dyslexic, so they added this line just in case.
I think this, dyslexia thing is getting worse. Maybe it's the ADHD.
I'm a loser. I have dyslexia, ADHD.
Nothing like sweet exposition to truly elevate a movie. Afterwards, Percy goes on a school trip where his substitute teacher needs to talk with him, but instead of mispronouncing his name like all substitute teachers do, Mrs. Dodds assaults him. That's new. Luckily for Percy, this hero in a wheelchair comes through to save the day. He gives Percy a mighty weapon.
This is a pen. This is a pen.
They say the pen is mightier than the sword. But what if the pen is the sword? Bet you never thought of that, huh, Edward? This was the start of my many nitpicks when I saw the movie back in the day. I was very disappointed that Percy's magical pen wasn't a ballpoint pen with a cap. Instead, it's a pen that clicks. If you think that this is a stupid thing to be upset about, then you would be correct, but I'm still mad. Anyways, Percy's mom Sally escorts Percy and Grover to Camp Half-Blood before getting attacked by a minotaur. She does her best mime impression before ultimately exploding into gold dust. It's a bit weird how Percy doesn't really give too much expression after seeing his literal mom turn into dust, but he's able to defeat the minotaur, but soon faints afterwards. And it's here where the movie starts to unravel so badly as an adaptation. Let's keep going. Percy sees that his good friend Grover is actually a donkey. Well, not a donkey, but
I'm half goat.
he's no Phil, but I don't blame him. No one can match perfection like Danny DeVito can. Grover's characterization is probably the most egregious thing to come from this movie. In the book, Grover is this insecure protector. He's failed to save someone in the past, and this failure eats him up inside. He doesn't want to go through the feat again, and he desperately wants to become a searcher like his father before him. However, in this movie, he's just a horny goat with way too much confidence. Getting back to the story, our main character finds his way to camp, and instead of being an undetermined, which is someone who doesn't know who their godly parent is, Percy and the rest of camp automatically know that he is the son of Poseidon. I can see why they didn't put this in the movie, as it might pad the already 2-hour runtime. Having him test the different abilities from different gods would have brought more levity and more screen time of the camp itself, but that might make the movie more fun, and obviously we don't want that. Throughout his short time at camp, Percy goes through the motions. He participates in the most choreographed capture the flag game, finds out that Hades is holding his mom captive, and that he needs to go on a quest to retrieve Zeus's lightning bolt by the summer solstice. Before heading out, Luke gives Percy a pair of winged feet. This allows Percy to fly, but in the book he doesn't think it's wise to enter Zeus's domain, so he gives them to Grover. Also in the book, the shoes are cursed, but in the movie, however, Percy just zips away like he's Will's stronghold. They make a quick stop to say hi to Medusa, and after some minor conflicts, Medusa loses her head. Percy and gang continue on their journey. On their journey, Percy gets a side quest to collect pearls, which doesn't happen in the book. He fights a Hydra, which doesn't happen in the book. And then gets trapped in a casino, which doesn't— oh wait, no, that does happen in the book. Although it's a lot more drawn out in the movie than in the book. Through the help of his father, Percy, Annabeth, and Grover make it out and head to the underworld, where they become face to face with Hades and Persephone. After some misunderstandings, Percy and gang finally retrieve the lightning bolt. Annabeth, Percy, and Sally leave the underworld together, leaving Grover behind. But don't feel too bad for him, because Persephone has the hots for this goat, for whatever reason. It's time for the climactic battle of the movie, Percy versus Ares. Wait a minute, where's Ares?
And this is where I put it.
Ares.
If I had one! Sorry, lost the happy.
He's the main villain in the first book. He was also the scapegoat that helped Percy clear his name from being a wanted fugitive as well, but I guess they're just gonna scrap all of that instead. Not including Ares is a major slap in the face to fans of the series. I'm gonna use Harry Potter as a reference again. Imagine if at the end of the first movie, Harry completes all the puzzles with the help of Ron and Hermione. But instead of seeing Professor Quirrell with Voldemort standing in front of the mirror of Erised, we just see, I don't know, Neville Longbottom? Wait, is it kind of bad that I want to watch that instead? Moving away from this tangent, Percy is able to defeat Luke using the inspirations from Dragon Ball Z, Avatar The Last Airbender, and I guess Mortal Kombat? Luke's kappa was definitely detated from his head here. Ouch. Zeus gets his bolt back, and Percy his Grover back, and me my sanity back because the movie is over. It's finally over. Well, almost. We still have this end credits scene. But yeah, what a movie. It's honestly not as bad as I remember it being, but only because I disassociated the book from the movie. As an adaptation, it's actually amazing at how great of a job it does of disrespecting the source material. Even the star actors like Sean Bean, Rosario Dawson, Uma Thurman, and Pierce Brosnan can't save this film. The acting was mediocre due to both the direction and, most importantly, the writing.
It's like high school without the musical.
There's also no mention of Kronos being the one to manipulate people from the shadowy depths of Tartarus. There's no sense of danger on the horizon as we see characters afraid of what might happen in the coming years. This movie really made it seem like all of this conflict started from an idea a 17-year-old kid had who was mad at his dad. I mentioned before how it's clear that the filmmakers didn't respect the book nor the author, and we're the true losers for watching it. There are so many minor changes throughout this movie, like the pen, the Hydra, Grover's characterization, Persephone, the pearls, the shoes, Ares, Luke. I can go literally on and on. Not to mention they sped up the romance between Percy and Annabeth, which took a lot more time in the books. I want to know what they were thinking when they made this movie, as it seems like they went out of their way to make this movie as different from the books as possible. Luckily for Rick Riordan, and especially fans of the series, there's a new show coming out. It definitely seems like they're finally respecting the source material, and I have heard that Rick Riordan has been involved with this show as well, which is reassuring. I'm excited because I feel Percy's journey definitely fits better in episodes than a long movie. The One Piece adaptation, the Avatar The Last Airbender adaptation, and now this. Are we finally starting to see a shift in Hollywood? I'm hoping that's the case. Still holding out hope for a potential Ranger's Apprentice adaptation. I loved that series as a kid and I desperately want to see it retold in either live action or 3D animation, or I guess 2D animation. I'm not greedy. Anywho, watching this movie made me want to reread the books again, and maybe I'll do just that in preparation for the series, which is streaming very soon. I'm looking forward to it, but I'll always be cautious of these things. After all, Disney was responsible for that Artemis Fowl movie too. Yikes. Let me know down below what you thought of this movie, and if you're excited for the new live action show coming out. Let's please keep it civil in the comments, and yeah, please like and subscribe as well for more videos from yours truly. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.